Let's go back to his physicists don't gamble. That was probably the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, the casinos aren't having him this time around because
I thought that was the
bets.
only interesting thing he said the whole episode was that
Well, he's first of all,
if they were to teach you odds in school, you would never play the lottery, and all that money goes back to education. So
You think he's there's something there?
I think that they don't teach you a lot of probability in any of the school I went to, and that seems like out of all the things you could learn, that one would probably translate the best to like normal life, more than calculus or algebra or any of trigonometry.
You think if you took
I
probability,
mean, maybe trigonometry has some. Sorry,
you wouldn't. If you had taken probability, you'd be less inclined to gamble.
No, but I learned probability theory purely from playing cards. Like I didn't learn.
yeah, but let's back it up. Even if you hadn't learned from playing cards, which we did, when you walk into a casino, you know that they have a slight edge. That's it. It's literally written. Like it's not an unknown fact.
Yeah,
right?
that's just that you're,
My
51% more towards the house.
My point is simply that he was like a physicist would never gamble. People gamble knowing they're at a disadvantage all the fucking time.
Oh,
That's the jig is
sorry,
up.
I didn't hear him say that. I thought we were talking about the.
No, because he said physicists never gamble because we know about probability. And
Well,
I was
that's
like,
crazy.
I was like, asshole, I know about probability and I gamble.
I bet you I
Like,
can pull up a physicist right now that has a gambling problem.
Of course.
Like that's stupid. It's an addiction. It's like saying a doctor doesn't smoke.
And the hot hand.
Hey, that's exactly
Yeah,
like
exactly,
tons
yes.
of doctors smoke.
They know
Like,
exactly how bad it
they
is.
know it's bad for you and you can't help yourself. That's why it's an addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some people get addicted to things that are good for you.
Yeah.
Which is,
Exercise.
But even then, like weightlifting,
That's exercise. Yeah.
I know, but it turns bad is all I'm saying. Being addicted to anything doesn't seem like a good thing.
Have you heard the theory that the lotto is a low-key way to tax poor people?
Yeah. It's to get welfare money back. Yeah.
Again, brilliant.
The hot hand fallacy. I thought he'd know this, but they actually proved that in sports and only in sports, it's not a fallacy. That you really can have a hot hand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
Well, I understand. Like, I know, I get the hot hand fallacy. It makes total sense to me. But they've proven in sports that, like, if Steph Curry's on, he's more likely to hit a shot than if he's just having an off night, which makes total sense to, I think, all of us.
Just feeling loose.
Yeah. I've done it. You've done it in everything,
Get
right?
in
Like,
the zone. And
yeah.
I understand what he was trying to say, like over the course of the game, or I guess what he was saying was over the course of time, you're going to hit this many shots regardless of streaks or this or that. But these games are...
Well, no, what he's saying is that, okay, the hot hand fallacy states that something in the future is independent of what's already happened in the past. Meaning, if I told you that the odds of us flipping a coin 10 times and it landing on heads, the odds of that happening are like 0.5%. Let's just say for the
They're
sake of this argument.
50-50, aren't they?
I said of it landing heads 10 times in a row.
Okay.
The odds are about 0.5%, let's say for this argument. If we flipped it 9 times and it hit heads 9 times in a row, what do you think the odds are of it hitting heads the last time?
Well, they've got to be infinitesimal, right?
It's 50-50.
Well,
But the point is this, Simon, is that just because we've already hit the 9 heads in a row, it doesn't mean that the
Change
next
the
one,
odds of
it's
that
still
last one,
50-50 on that last one, despite the fact
I know, but why does that have anything to do with the hot hand?
that's exactly what the hot hand fallacy states, that the thing that's going to happen in the future has nothing to do with what's happened in the past, i.e., just because Steph has hit 5 straight threes does not guarantee that he's going to hit the next 3. It still is down to a probability of whatever Steph's percentage is on threes. If Steph's a 34% three-point shooter, he has a 34% chance of hitting the 6th three, regardless.
I guess maybe you're just calling it the wrong thing. Like, don't call it a hot hand. Scoring
His
definitely
hand does not raise in temperature whatsoever. Joe.
Scoring definitely works in bunches
Yeah, but okay.
because you feel good, whether you're feeling good the whole game or for 5 minutes.
Let me give you an example. I remember Kamar came to me one day and was like, I figured out a surefire way to win at the casino. And I'm obviously like, oh, really? Let's hear it.
Don't go.
So Kamar explains that is the best way
Yeah.
to beat the house. So Kamar explains to me the Martingale system. Martingale? which just states if you lose, you bet the same thing and double it.
You double it.
Yeah. And I said to Kamar, it doesn't take more than like 10 spins for you to be so deep in the fucking hole. And my point was, I've played enough roulette to know that it can easily go black 50 spins in a row. There's nothing dictating that it can't. What you're getting at is that if you extrapolate that over 1,000 spins, eventually you get to somewhere in the 50-50 range. But at a small sample size,
Yeah.
anything
I
can
was
happen.
going to say, like, if you take that theory and extrapolate it over the course of your life,
Of course.
you probably will be up if you have enough money to make up for all the downs,
No. At the casino, you'll be down because they have that edge. If you over time, you have to lose the casino, right? That's how it works because they have a 4% edge, 5% edge.
Well, let's say it's a roulette that has
No zeros.
No zero.
Yeah. You could, in theory, over time, if you just bet red and you never ever went anywhere other than red, yeah. But again,
and doubled every time you lost.
but you and I also know that you could easily you could have it where when you go to the table, it's always black. There's nothing dictating that either, right? Like you could just be the bad luck guy where you go to roulette 15 straight times and you're like, I'm only going to bet red.
This also only takes into account like facts, let's call them. Whereas, you could be an unlucky person and you're bringing that with you around like a cloud.
Yeah. Like me.
You're pretty lucky at gambling, Matt. Like at the casino,
If
as
you
far
do it
as
enough,
I can
you're going to
tell.
get lucky once in a while.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
No, he's the type of guy who walks up and puts like
I also bet big though, right? Like I'm not,
whatever, $10 on a number and that number hits. Like that never happens to me,
I also let the
You
wheel.
don't do it as much. You don't do it
That's
as
true.
much.
You don't do it as
That's
much.
true.
And this might sound ridiculous. I just let the wheel talk to me. I do what the wheel says. That's it.
That's when
You,
you get to
you heard it here, folks.
You
He
become a
does what the
guru.
wheel
People follow
says.
you, give
Yeah.
up their lives.
No, no.
And it's the wheel. It's been the wheel all along.
Listen, if I'm going to be straight up honest with you, roulette is like the thing I'm down at the most probably. Sports betting is where I make money and then I give it back at roulette.
I give advice, but it's not really me. It's the voices
Yeah.
in my head, and they tell me what to say. So you can't sue me. You got to sue the voices in
Hold
my
on.
head.